The harmonies.
Just a speculative fiction.
Oh, that just kind of gave me chill bumps. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. A Speculative Fiction is from Propagandhi's fourth studio album, Potemkin City Limits, released in 2005. Not to be confused with the track Potemkin City Limits, which I heard on my full album review of Supporting Cast over on Patreon. Don't know the backstory of the two or how they're related album to album. I'm sure you guys will know. But apparently this song won the first annual Echo Songwriting Prize from SOCAN, which is the Society of Composers, Authors, and Music Publishers of Canada. I'm going to say, too, I think we're kind of on a Propagandhi cruise control at the moment. This was the second highest voted track over on Patreon last month, and as I'm recording this, I believe another Propagandhi song is about to win first place for next month. They love this band over there, and as do I, so I'm very okay with this, and it's been fun kind of taking it slow and soaking in their music as I work backwards through their catalog, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. But today we're taking a pit stop in the year 2005 with A Speculative Fiction. Are they in standard tuning for this record? That might make my life a lot easier. The last few have been in C and E flat. Let's hear it again. Might be. Cool chord inversions happening here, giving it that kind of cluttered, dense sound. And I was just talking about this in the last video for Pearl Jam. You can invert the chords as a bass player anytime you want. You're the lowest note harmonically in a typical rock band setup. I think that's what's happening here. Let me hear it again, because as always, there's great guitar work going on. I did mention this in the intro, but I did read that, or I did notice that this was just a three-piece for this album. Sometimes the lineup things are wrong for album credits, but that's what it says here. Just something worth mentioning. Yeah. Hearing a lot of that kind of fourth. So just a nice thick sound in the chords there. Total change in bass tone here. Real snarly. Okay. Love that sort of sharp 4 sounds, kind of Lydian sound. So if we're in E minor, G major, the guitar is kind of playing C chords with that F sharp in there, almost that major 7, or let's see, like that kind of sound. I love that chord. Major 7, sharp 11, sort of. They're voicing it a bit differently, but leans into that sharp 4 sound. And I believe we are in standard. I hear some open string on the E, up to the flat 5. So I've got that kind of diminished bluesy sound. It's like something off the Master of Puppets album. That's where my home base is. So loving the tonality of the riff. Let's go back to about here. Sometimes I gotta take these slow. There's a lot happening. Yeah. Love that chord.
A new iron curtain drawn across the 49th parallel. Cut all diplomatic ties as we expel all American dignitaries and issue a nationwide travel advisory for any others left inside. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Yeah, there's some really nice lead-esque bass stuff happening there. It's kind of in between the drum breaks. So Todd on bass is locking with the main riff and the verse waiting for those little drum breaks to insert some lead stuff, and it's kind of jumping up in the range of all those kind of extended notes happening in the guitar chords. This has been a trait I've heard on other songs and other albums. Again, as someone who's played a lot of progressive stuff, that's always been my approach. Like, where can I jump up and leave the drums for a second, maybe lock in with the guitars harmonically, and kind of straddle that role of being more of a lower pitched guitar or a drum set with notes. You can kind of pick and choose anyone at any time as a bass player. And I love hearing how every bassist does it a bit differently. See if I can catch that real quick. It's kind of dense here. Let's see.
The 49th parallel.
Real passionate vocals.
Cut off diplomatic ties as we expel all American dignitaries and issue a nationwide.
Kind of riding up here a bit, which kind of complicates those guitar voicings even more. Just makes them really rich and dense. One more time. Let it go. Something like that. Cool. Something? It's a really well-blended bass tone. I can kind of just hear that it's moving, slithering around underneath everything else, but it's just hard to really pick out the notes sometimes. But it's definitely some sort of independent line here. Maybe some octaves. I just like the texture it adds underneath these already dense guitar parts. And I kind of like this riff writing so far. This is a simpler riff for Propagandhi. But it makes those blossoming out guitar parts even more impactful. So they're kind of doing the A-B thing there, songwriting-wise. And I just like where the bass is jumping in and leaving the riff for a minute, coming back and joining it in. But it's all unfolding quick. Again, this won some sort of songwriting prize. I don't know the context of that. Just kind of a cool thing to read. It is a well-written song so far.
Cubits and a snare.
Damn.
A shepherd sling and 5 stones in our hand. The battle of 1812 lives in our heart.
I think what's cool too is hearing just this band being standard tuning. I don't believe anything I've heard from them so far, which has been all of Victory Lap, supporting cast on Patreon. We did Unscripted Moment, which is from Failed States. I haven't heard that album yet. But everything's been in either E flat, C, D flat. I think supporting cast was all in like a D flat, drop D flat, standard. So when I hear them in standard tuning, it might, it's just a couple half steps away. But for me, that sound is a bit more like Big Four thrash. We're hearing E, lots of G and B flat, kind of that minor pentatonic bluesy sound. I haven't heard this sound from them yet. And it's striking me that way just because of the tuning. So it's cool. It's just kind of a new thing. And I'm curious if the farther we go back, they weren't, using as many alternate tunings. We'll find out eventually because I'm coming in from the back. So it's fun to go through a band this way, I have to say. Let me go back right here. Yeah, this is cool. It's very thrashy to me.
A shepherd sling and 5 stones in our hand. The battle of 1812 lives in our heart.
Yeah. Almost like Holy War's Megadeth. Really intricate kind of phrasing there. I'm not going to get it. But I was commenting on this main theme being simple. I can finally follow along in a Propagandhi song. I haven't been able to do that very much. Not this riff, but the one earlier. A little simplified version. I could follow along. Hadn't been able to do that in a lot of these songs. See where it goes. This is rad.
The battle of 1812 lives in our hearts.
It's pretty high vocals too. Wow.
We don't care if we're destroyed. We'll never capitulate. We'll take the whole fucking world down. Down with us in flames.
Oh, the harmonies.
Just a speculative fiction.
Oh, that just kind of gave me chill bumps coming in with the harmonies on the guitar. I love this. I love where this riff is living tonally. You know, it was foreshadowed earlier by that little lead. We started that section that was kind of like that kind of thing. Big hits on bass and guitar. And then you started to hear that snarly bass tone start building with some movement. Something like that. And then they added the harmony, just the thirds and the guitar. I just made it so epic the whole way this was brought in. This is a perfect build right here. And I'm going to hear it again because that was just sank its teeth into me. Listen to the way this builds up. Well, hi-hat. So good.
We don't care if we're destroyed. We'll never capitulate. We'll take the whole fucking world down. Down with us in flames. Just a speculative fiction.
Oh, love that. Got to give massive amount of credit to the drum parts here. I saw a YouTube comment today that said, why don't you ever talk about the drums? I started on piano, trumpet. I just tend to think more melodically. But Jord, all the drumming from this band has just been top tier, very creative, hard to ignore. The parts are such a substantial part of the way their songs are kind of glued together. And I was just going to say, a huge part of the reason that build works is because of the drum work. Slow kind of hi-hat, just keeping time. When drummers kind of do that, you know it's going to come back up. Fast 16ths on the hi-hat, got this opening up with the toms thing. So I have to give some shout out there. I always tend to hear the melodic chordal guitar bass things first, but don't want to leave the drums out. Hell yeah, this is such a great build. Let's keep it going, see how this ends.
Just a speculative fiction.
Then they did the harmonies and the vocals too. Perfect.
No cause for alarm. We got a good 15 years left.
Well, that's a tricky riff.
Till united we stand. Murals on West Broadway finally fade. And we wave goodbye to your sad childish phrase. Exchange for other stupid lullabies. Like you can have my guns when you cry. Them from my...
What I really like about this last 20 seconds here is that this almost reminds me of what was happening earlier in the song where Todd on bass would kind of use those spaces to kind of add in those little, just a little bit of bass melody. He didn't here. It lets it breathe because we've had such a dense build. We've had all these complex guitar nuances and just a really dense composition. I like that they kind of let it breathe here in those holds. None of this is accidental in my mind. Right here. Right here.
And we wave goodbye to your sad childish refrains. Exchange for rather stupid alibis.
It really kind of pulls your attention back to the vocals because in all of the great riff writing and things flying by, sometimes, at least for me as a listener, that can kind of distract me from the lyrics. And that everyone hears music differently, but I like that there's nothing else to really fixate on other than the way this song ends lyrically. Haven't been paying attention to the lyrics to get a whole picture or anything, but that's just what I noticed musically here.
Exchange for rather stupid alibis. Like you can have my guns when you cry. Them from my cold dead hands. Go!
That was sick.
Just a speculative fiction.
Man. You know, I have to admit, when I see these Propagandhi songs frequently getting voted in over on Patreon, a little part of me goes, ugh. It's like, how am I going to make another episode on this band and not just gush and be predictable with what I'm going to say? You guys know I'm going to like them. I know I'm going to like them. So it's tough to be objective. But damn, that was a really well-written song. I actually feel like the structure was a bit more predictable in a good way for me doing these videos hearing it the first time. I kind of like that there was a central riff. And again, I come from listening to bands that change riffs a lot. I'm accustomed to that. But this had an air tightness to it that maybe was more present earlier on. I don't know. But that central E, G, and B flat kind of flat five bluesy thing was kind of something they kept returning to, and everything was kind of built off of it. It stayed largely in the same key the whole song. And there was actually a riff I could follow along, kind of on first listen. I think the coolest thing about it, on a nerdy level, just with someone who analyzes music, is that it has a whole different sound and a standard tuning down in regular E. No E flat, no C sharp, C. So that was a fresh thing for me. And I felt like the vocals were just a bit higher in range at times. I don't know if that was just an earlier snapshot of him as a vocalist, but I loved everything about it. That was some really clear, concise songwriting, and it opens this album, Potemkin City Limits, from 2005, and I look forward to hearing that whole record at some point soon. But thank you guys again on Patreon who voted this in. Looks like we have another one coming up, as I said. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. And if you'd like to support the channel further and come join in on all this madness, come find us over on Patreon. I do full albums there every month. We vote on them. If you're a bass player, have lessons and music theory lessons and such. If you enjoyed this, make sure you're subscribed. Please go like the Propagandhi social media channels. I know they have a new record coming out soon, and I want it to be big for them. This is a killer band. So glad I found them. But I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.